So here we are yet again with another fantastic video, and this is just, this is just a simple soliloquy, and me talking about, well, how can I put this? Some basic stuff, revolving around essentially, business aspects. So, having played through about 70% of Octopath Traveler, finished a lot of the main stories, now all I like to do is just finish up some of the other characters, two of the other characters' stories, and then the main after story that ties everything together. But having played the game and seeing that it's doing gangbusters in Japan, like almost everywhere it's doing pretty well because Square Enix underestimated the demand. I'm just going to talk about how I feel about that and why I think Square Enix is kind of having an issue with it. So let's get to it after the cut. So, let's talk about it. A little bit of history. Squaresoft used to be one of the princes of JRPGs in Japan, and they were the king of JRPGs worldwide because basically, their games were synonymous with being quality JRPGs back in the 3rd and 4th gen. Everywhere except Japan. Japan, they were always number 2 next to Enix, who basically released a Dragon Quest. Eventually, some shit went down. Squaresoft damn near went bankrupt. They were bought out by they were acquired by, well, it was a merger or something. Basically, they merged with Enix, became Square Enix, and they've been a shit show ever since. But basically, back in the day, the audience for JRPGs was on Nintendo systems, especially during the 3rd and 4th gen, because, and arguably I would say that some of the best JRPGs of all time came out from Square Enix at that time. I'm talking Final Fantasies 1, 2, and 3, 3, 4, and 5, 4, 5, and 6, Chrono Trigger, Live Alive, Romancing Saga. I mean, it was a wonderful time to play JRPGs from Squaresoft. And then the 5th gen comes along, and basically, what happens at that point is that Squaresoft gets their ass on their shoulders, and ass that they proceed to let Sony stick its dick up, and they think they're on top of the world. And they do some dirty deeds behind the scenes, basically pulling JRPG support from the Nintendo systems to the PlayStation systems. Sony takes off with their PS1 and the PS2. The rest is history. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is the JRPG audience they completely abandoned, the market they abandoned on the Nintendo home system. Think about this. Okay? Think about this. The SNES functionally stopped being a console in 96, 97, when the N64 comes out, right? The N64 had no real JRPGs on it, except for like 2 games, and no Squaresoft RPGs. Squaresoft abandoned an entire audience of gamer, because even throughout the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th gen, there are people who only game on Nintendo systems. That's the only home console they'll get. And you know what? That's a market that has been completely fucking abandoned by Square Enix. Had been abandoned for years. If you own a Nintendo system, you are not getting, you will not get a JRPG experience on a Nintendo system, which is fucked up. And that's what we had to deal with. I mean, think about it, okay? 22 years. 22 years we did not get a JRPG. Think about that shit. That's just fucked up. But that's Square Enix for you. And, and now they're acting surprised that they bring a they bring a JRPG to the system, and they're surprised that, hey, a underserved audience that you've basically been fucking over for 22 years, they actually want to play JRPGs. Oh, surprise, surprise. It's amazing that, they're acting surprised now, even though they're the ones who abandoned the audience in the first place. But, it is what it is. And I'll go into, the lesson that they should take from this after the cut. So, the lesson that they should learn, as the title placard says, is that they should be putting quality JRPGs on the system. Quality, unapologetically JRPGs, not this dumbed down shit they've been making. Quality JRPGs on the system. That's the lesson Square Enix should be learning. Not these derivative throwbacks that are bastardizations of better games, like I Am Setsuna, a poor man's Chrono Trigger, or that other weird ass game. Let's see, made by the same developer. I forgot the name of it, but I mean, people don't want that shit. People want stuff that's new and yet, stays to the core of what a JRPG is. That's what we want as Nintendo gamers. That's what we had back in the day, during the 3rd and 4th gen, and then Square Enix fucked it up. Well, should I say, they fucked it up in order to go hang out with Sony. And then Sony gave them the clap, and it's just not been good. But you get what I'm saying? Unfortunately, we're going to have to get into the lesson that they're probably going to learn after the cut. So, I said in the previous segment that the lesson they should learn is that, put more quality JRPGs on the system that are budgeted well and they'll sell well to make money. That's not the lesson they're going to learn. What the lesson Square Enix is going to learn is, okay, we're going to port this game over to the Xbox One, the PS4, the PC. It's going to flop on all those platforms. And then they're going to be like, oh, well, we failed and missed the entire point. The point is that you have an audience. You have a platform that you've been basically ignoring for 20 years. Literally 2/3 of my life. And, they desperately want quality RPGs. They desperately want quality JRPGs, that are JRPGs, that are kind of throwbacks, that are anachronistic in that the style of JRPG is kind of old school, but with new modern sensibilities. That's what we want. They're not going to figure that out. They're going to just port the shit over to other systems that don't want to play these games. It's going to bomb spectacularly, and they won't figure it out because it's Square Enix, and they love fucking up. The conclusion after the cut. So here's the conclusion. Square Enix abandoned an audience for 22 years, and they're acting surprised that they're not able to really make money on it. And now that they're giving that audience they abandoned what they really want, they're going to be like, they actually made money on it. So, hopefully they'll learn their lesson, but they probably won't. Remember, this Saturday, Sci-Fi Power Hour-ish, 7:30. This Sunday, BS Busters, 7:30 p.m. Thank you. Have a good day. Peace.